All right, traders, hello, and anyone that's talking about. Let's turn that down. I'm just in the car now. Got the phone secured though. I'm just going to talk about, forex trading and, more specifically how to sort of deal with that in slower market conditions. And, I don't know about every system that's out there, but I do a trend trading method, and I can, tell you that I've actually even been dabbling in the 1 hour. So I've been doing some back testing for a little while now, for a couple of months. I've been doing some simulator stuff on the demo account, and it's pretty slow going. So look, I mean, the reason for the video is, how to approach times when, for example, July, has only been one trade. It was USD yen buy trade, and I got pretty lucky on the entry. The exit. Sorry, the entry was actually not timed great, and the rain's coming down in Perth as well. I got everything done before the rain hit, but not work. So anyway, yeah. So it's been pretty dull. One buy trade on the USD yen, and that's sort of been it. And at times I can have 3 to 4 trades a month. So I'm not someone who actually trades frequently compared to an individual who might day trade, but I am actually trying to work down to the 15-minute time frame as well. I'm a little more analytical, and I don't want to just sort of jump in there and start trading live capital without a bit of a strategy. So I've learned, I've said this a few times, if you do watch the videos and the channel, the easiest thing to do is definitely lose money in trading. That's you can only really appreciate that until you've started trading and you sort of think you have a grasp on concepts, and you just get a little bit ahead of yourself. You'll immediately be like, oh no, that's not how I should be doing things. So I mean, how to deal with slower trading. Number one, how I sort of approach it is you want to start back testing. So if you do back test and you're live trading and you're not back testing as much, treat this as a bit of a holiday nearly. Where, for example, the Euro US dollar, the Aussie dollar, the pound, the CAD, everything is really not. The USD yen, there was some potential that I talked about, but that really has been floundering about. It's been peculiar, to say the least. There is normally, I saw the US Turkish lira had some promise. That was one pair that actually went up about 3%. I'm not sure on the fundamental. I was watching Bloomberg at work. Like, you can watch the global news channel for free on YouTube. It's streamed, not like a Bloomberg terminal, but it was quite interesting to see what happened there. So, but the spread on that is pretty substantial. It's like, well, I'm not sure what it was. It was at least 8 pips or so, which is not ideal for an entry. So what that means, guys, if you're entering, you have to take that into consideration. It gets silly, and for exits, it's just something. It's a little bit harder to deal with, especially if I'm experimenting on the 1 hour time frame. It just ripped up it was just crazy. So. But on those exotic pairs, it can get a little bit volatile. So I avoided it. I haven't actually back tested that pair, although I have traded pairs live that I haven't back tested, but I wasn't particularly interested in that. So, and I am researching the stocks and things like that and day trading methods, but the capital really is currently put to work in the Forex market, and I sort of really want to get a good grasp on this sort of style of trading before going out and, learning the day trade as well. And really just having a lot of tools in the toolkit, so to speak. But, and now in regards to back testing. So if you're thinking to yourself, you're watching this, you're like, well, what's back testing? So back testing is, I use a software called Forex Tester, and it's the 3rd version is out now. And it replicates MetaTrader 4. So the main platform that most Forex traders use is MetaTrader. So there's MetaTrader 4 and 5. It's very similar. I think MetaTrader 5 just gives you a few more features. I don't actually use MetaTrader 5. But so you can go back in time historically and test a currency pair for 10, 15 years previously from the current date. So I think Forex Tester allows you to go back 15 years from the current date, so, or even more than that on certain pairs. So it's interesting. You can run a test on, let's say, the Euro US dollar on the 1 hour time frame, and you can do a lot of testing in a small space of time, because each spacebar you press represents one candlestick. So you hold down the spacebar, and that's, you can do months of testing, years of testing quite easily in a few hours, and you get a lot of data. You get the win rate, the expectancy, you execute the trade. So it's almost like it's real trading. Obviously, you don't have real money at risk, but you can get a real good understanding. You can take screenshots. What I like to do is I video my testing. I don't put it all up on YouTube because that would just be silly, because it would literally be like thousands of little videos and it would just, not be too relevant. But, so that's how I approach my back testing. Now, there's a video that I've done. It was around 6 months ago, and it's still relevant. It's on, how to backtest, and I do an example of me backtesting as well. So just search for backtesting Forex, and you'll see my channel does feature, I think it's the first 5 videos or so I should be in there, or the first 10, just depending on the algorithms and whatnot. I don't pay to advertise on YouTube. So I'll be in there, and I think it's How to Use Forex Tester 3 is the exact title. And I actually run through an example of a strategy that I was employing. I think I was using Bollinger Bands at the time, which is, Bollinger Bands are pretty handy, especially, beginning off if you're not too familiar with, charts. And having nothing on the charts can be a little overwhelming as someone who's never really done anything before in Forex. So you do that. You just do a lot of backtesting. If you insist on being productive in the markets and there's nothing tradable, and right now there really isn't much that is tradable, to be fair. You scan the charts. The really, once you're aware of your rules and your setups, you should know straight away whether or not there's a setup that's there. If you don't see it, and you continue just to look and sort of keep scanning and go to these what if type scenarios, what I will say is, for me personally, and May represented this, you end up taking subpar setups, and if you take subpar setups, it's more of a luck thing now. So the probability is not in your favor. For example, if you just wanted to buy the USD yen right now, because there wasn't great data out of Japan, that's not, you're not stacking the odds in your favor there. It's at all. I don't think I'm going to get by this guy. It's wet and it's busy on the roads, guys, but I'm making a video, and I really do want to address, it is slower in the markets. It really is. So you've just got to be aware of your rules, your risk management, and you just can't force trades. In May, if you go back and you see what happened with all that, you'll see it was a negative 6% month. I had made around 6% already in the first 4 months of the trading year. So I was back to pretty much, I was slightly negative. So, and that was from being a little too aggressive and just jumping into trades and going, what if? Like, I actually sold the pound yen into support because I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to get a bit, I just thought I was seeing the charts that well that I could wave the hand off at, the golden rules of, my system, and that's, do that. And I was like, you know what? No, it's okay. And, you'll pay for that in the end. So now, in regards to, being picky, and what I would say, and when I got taught by Dr. Walter Peters, so luckily enough, I stumbled across his forum. I was recommended to join his forum. I'm no longer part of that, but, I'm in that forum back in 2015 and 16, and I was in there in 2017 as well, and he pretty much said, backtest a lot, find a system, you're never going to be 100% comfortable with it, and then stick with that for at least a couple of years and refine it and sort of make it your own. So I see a lot of signal providers that are out there, and that's fair enough. Everyone wants to make some money. I'm not here to bash signal providers, but to the beginner trader out there, and I can see no one's really watching this right now, the live telecast. It's in, the middle of the night for viewers in the US. I think my viewership is around 80% of people are from the US that watch this, or at least 70 when I last checked this month. So, for the people that are watching this, and I'll put this up again once the recording is processed, you've got to appreciate that there are a lot of opportunities in Forex, but you have to just sort of step back and go, number one, you can't get all the trades out there. So that's not, when you see all these signal providers and they're saying, oh, I caught this, I caught 20 pips here, I caught 20 pips there. Number one, they'll probably only show the winning trades because it's a marketing thing. So if you see a guy and he's like, I made this trade, I made that trade, I'm making this amount of money, and it can get a bit ridiculous, especially with scalping. Scalping is valid, but it's not really for a beginner trader to be, in a primetime news event and he's like dabbling in the 1 minute charts. That's really, the elite traders do that, and they have, their Bloomberg terminals. They get the news first. So they're in, and then, the retail traders will follow, and then they'll start selling because they know the retail traders are slow to act because they have slower news feeds, and then you'll just lose your money. It's just sad, and it happens so many times with this manipulation and things like that. And so you just need to take a step back and go to the higher time frames, because it's extremely hard to manipulate things on the higher time frames. If you have wider stops, I'm talking use like a 55-day moving average stop. You do something like that, and you're away from the bulk of the stop losses. So the institutions can see where a lot of the stops are, depending on what broker you use and things like that. If you're just a small player, they can see where things are accumulated. And also their experience, they can sort of tell where everyone's sort of, at the low of that candle or whatever. Because that's what the gurus teach me. Which again is valid, but if you don't have a method and you're just jumping in for a week following one method, it's not particularly valid, because you have a few losing trades in a row and then be like, oh, this is just a scam. And then a lot of people just lose money really quickly and then give up on trading. And it's really sad, because trading, if you dedicate yourself to it, and I have, if you follow the channel, you'll see that, for me, right, it's not life-changing, but, it's opened the doors. I mean, I'm going to a prop firm in Sydney in September that could lead to, a successful career. So, right now it hasn't changed my life quite yet, but there's a big possibility that it could. And, it hasn't really taken that long. Obviously, I found good resources for education, and that's important too. Can you get great resources for free? You can. I mean, the best thing I found was when I went and saw Walter Peters in person in Sydney. And I don't know if he's running them anymore. It was in August. It was last year. And that was some really good insight. And then he really, gave me a solid plan on what literature to refer to, and, some psychological edges to use, some journaling. I keep a journal how I'm feeling day to day, and I journal my exercise that I do. And it's all one big sort of experiment. And then you compare notes if you had a bad month, and then you can clearly see, why things didn't really pan out. And sometimes, though, you might just have a not so great month and you followed the rules, and that's still a good month. Is it a profitable month? No, but they'll come. They really will. So look, that's my take on how to approach a slower market. I'm going to conclude the video now, guys. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.